Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I'm here tonight live on Monday. It is March 18th, 2024, and I'm going over This Week in Astrology from March 18th all the way until March 24th, 2024. And welcome if you're just joining me live tonight. I'm live every Monday night, unless if it's a major holiday, on Facebook, on my Facebook Astrology Updates by Gretchen Heidel page. Or if you're watching on the replay on YouTube, welcome. You guys are awesome as well. Make sure you like the post and comment below. What is your astrological sign? Where are you tuning in from? I love to hear everybody's sign. Sun, moon, rising. We got some people joining. Yay. Rita, you're my first one. Rita from Colorado, Virgo, welcome. Melinda, hey, Melinda, how are you tonight? We got some people coming. This is a very busy and important broadcast because I'm going to be going over the spring equinox. We're moving into Aries season already. We already zipped through Pisces season. I'm going to be going over, there's planets changing. The sun's moving into Aries. Like I said, that's the spring equinox. And then we have Mars moving into Pisces. And then we have the big full moon next Monday. But I'm going to touch on that. I'm going to touch on that full moon because I'll be seeing you after the peak of the full moon on Monday, 3 a.m. Monday morning on March 25th. So I'm going to start to go over that as well. So we have a lot of planets doing stuff this week, and it's going to be a busy astrological week. Hey, Andrea, welcome. Aries season starting. Last week was actually sort of kind of a little bit sort of quiet, astrologically speaking. Anybody feel that energy that we had going on last week between Saturn and Ceres and the Great Mother, and if there was any kind of mothering, sort of nurturing stuff? And there was a little bit of sharp energy over the weekend with Mercury forming a square to Ceres. I don't know if anybody felt that, but that was kind of the flavor of last week. And then yesterday, we had the second chance new moon in Gemini. I don't know about you guys, but boy, I was getting blown up. I had so many people texting and calling me. It was crazy yesterday. And that was that Gemini moon. Second chance new moon is the second quarter lunar cycle. And that just happened on Sunday on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. And that's when, it was 27 degrees Gemini. So I felt a lot of communication stuff over the weekend. I don't know if anybody else did. And we are, as of today, March 18th, we are in Mercury pre-shadow period. This is March 18th is the pre-shadow to Mercury retrograde. Kate said, absolutely, yes, exclamation point. Andrea said you felt it too. I am going to get just into the deep end here because there is a lot to go over this week. So tomorrow on Tuesday, March 19th, we have the sun moving into the astrological sign of Aries. Okay, so yay, Aries season is starting, but also this is important because whenever we move into one of the cardinal signs, because remember, the cardinals are leaders, hashtag bosses, it means a new season is starting. So we always, people always say to me, I don't use astrology or I don't believe in astrology. Well, but you kind of do because that's basically what's happening. The sun is moving into the astrological sign of Aries. So we are starting springtime. So welcome to spring. Yay. I wore my little dogwood, kind of flowers tonight. I don't know if these are cherry blossoms or what these are, but that was my homage to springtime. And so we are going to be officially, the sun will move into the astrological sign of Aries, which is also the start of spring, tomorrow at 11:06 p.m. Eastern time. So again, earlier than that if you're on the West Coast. Now, what does it mean to have the equinox? So the difference between the solstices, okay, summer solstice or winter solstice, is that we're talking about the longest or the shortest day of the year. But the equinoxes are equal day, sunlight, and moonlight. So it's equal length of time for the day. So we always have either the spring equinox or the fall equinox, and that's when it's equal daylight. So I always remember equinox, which is equal. Okay, so it kind of, that's my little cheat sheet. Hey, Wendy. Oh, thank you. You found me. That's great. Thank you, Andrea. First stars of the evening, 111 stars. I love that, astrologically speaking, because we are in the first sign of the zodiac, which is also International Astrology Day. And it's the astrological new year, because of course us astrologers are going to use International Astrology Day at this, make it the same day as if it's the, because this is really the new year. This is the astrological new year. That January 1st time is like kind of an arbitrary number. So, it's like welcome to a new season, and we're going to be starting around again. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Like I said, it's one of the boss signs. It is a fire sign. So if you think about, feisty Aries, Mariah Carey, Lady Gaga, there's a lot of big names that are Aries performers and entertainers. Russell Crowe is one of the Aries that I always use an example from. We're feisty. I'm an Aries as well. So if any Aries out there, welcome, welcome. It is your birthday. It is your birthday time. And we're a little feisty. We're also scrappy. We're also, if you think of those little poor little, tiny little crocuses and tulips and stuff, they're pretty feisty. They have to come up to that frozen ground and sort of fight their way up, after everything's coming out of the winter and things are starting to awaken. And that is very much at the heart of what Aries season is. So I wanted to go over what does it mean for the spring equinox, because it is a time where we definitely can celebrate and honor the change of the season. Yes, we are leaders, Debbie said. Yes, exactly. Hey, Katrina, welcome. Katie Lynn, awesome, welcome. And so that is something that, we do every year. Now, it's also called the vernal equinox. It's not as common of a name. But this is time where we can start to set up an altar, okay, in our home. If you guys have a home altar, this is a good time to decorate your altar with, homage to springtime sort of flowers and things like that. You want to bring in the outside inside. So you can do potted flowers, cut flowers, whatever. You want to bring in some lush green. This is a perfect time to do that type of stuff, to spring clean, to release this old stagnant energy that we had from the winter time. And now we're getting into this beautiful time. If you think about the mutable signs where we just came from, which was Pisces, mutable means, it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But because it's a transitional season, but now we're getting into that springtime season, and all of the springtime, people are going to be affected, not just Aries. It'll be Aries, Taurus, Gemini. They're the springtime signs. So when I'm talking tonight about this, all of us can celebrate spring somewhere in our chart. That's a whole quadrant in astrology chart that's called a quadrant, which is a whole big section or a chunk of your chart is, spring, summer, fall, and winter. And so that is in the northern hemisphere of the world anyway. We are celebrating spring. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere of the world, which I do have watchers now in the southern hemisphere, you might be celebrating fall equinox, because they're moving into a different time of year. But if you're moving into the springtime equinox, that's I'm based in the United States, so that's what I'm covering tonight in the broadcast. For your home altar and even your house, if you don't have a home altar, you can put things in your house, like symbols of spring. Eggs are a big one, okay? If you think about Ostara, which is a pagan holiday, Easter eggs and Easter bunnies, well, all of those are symbols of springtime in paganism. That all came from pagan roots. The little fertility bunnies and all that kind of stuff, all those cute little things. So you want to use eggs, maybe like wooden eggs, or, you don't want to put fresh eggs on your altar because PU, it would definitely smell after a while. If you don't like to use eggs, because I'm a vegan and I don't eat eggs, I use nuts in place of eggs. So nuts still have like vital, if you think about a hard shell, and then on the inside, like if you can find whole walnuts or some kind of whole nut, that's a good one. Nuts and seeds, bright colored ribbons and bright colored, the typical springtime colors, the yellow, the pinks, the blues, all those good things. Yes, Almir. Yeah, you said seeds are good as well. Exactly. So I like the, using those types of symbols around the house. That's a good way to decorate. And it's not about Christianity necessarily, because, I have a lot of people from all different faiths watching my broadcast. It's an homage to spring, really. And so what we're doing is we're actually getting into a new kind of meridian, a new sort of time. If you're looking at Chinese medicine, if you're looking at acupuncture or whatever, springtime is very much associated with liver energy. That is the energy of springtime. So it's not just this spring equinox that I'm talking about. I'm talking about spring in general. So that's the liver meridian point, actually, in Chinese acupuncture. And so if you think about liver, springtime, this is a good time to have like some sort of a liver detox. I'm not advising any medical stuff here. Check with your doctor, all the good disclaimers and warnings. But this is good time to concentrate on your liver and focusing on the energy of the liver, because that is what's associated with this. So it's all about bitter greens. So if you think of what's our favorite, one of my favorite anyway, springtime flowers, which is dandelions. Dandelions are scrappy little flowers. I mean, if you think about it, when you pull out a dandelion like that, if you don't get the whole root, I mean, those suckers grow back. And so dandelions are great bitter greens. Any kind of dark leafy green, though, is good for doing a liver detox. They even sell dandelion tea that you can get at the store. The other thing is, it's bitter and sour. So the other thing you could do is lemons, just drinking like a hot or a warm lemon water, first thing in the morning when you wake up. So we have bitter and sour flavors, wake up the liver, wake up the gallbladder. It's funny in Chinese medicine, the liver is considered to be the general. Okay. He's in charge of all, he who oversees everything. And if you think about tarot, Aries is associated with the emperor. So we have the general, we have the emperor, we have all those types of things. Yes, Ashley Ann, she asked if kale counts. Yes, dark leafy greens, all the dark leafy greens, can wake up the liver energy. So you want to get into that. What makes the liver angry? Fatty foods, really heavy foods, also the gallbladder too. Alcohol, any of those things, you want to be moving away from those things. Okay, we just came out of the winter holiday season. People drank, people ate a lot of heavy fatty foods. Now we want to think greens. We want to think light. We want to think, hot lemon water, like I said, or some kind of sour, bitter type food. All of those things, because the liver is very important. Unlike Western medicine, where we kind of look at things a little bit more myopic. It's like, if it's something to do with your head, which Aries is the head, by the way, then you go to the head doctor. It's something to do with your elbow, you go to the elbow doctor. Well, in Chinese acupuncture, sort of, the meridian points and all those things, it's all connected. It's all connected. So the liver actually controls the tendons in our body. Getting into like a nice stretch program, remember, we're waking up, and this is for the spring equinox. If you're just joining me, you might want to get into some yoga, those types of things where we're stretching and taking good care of our tendons. And also the liver meridian leads into the eyes. Now, if you think about Aries being the head, that's definitely can be our eyesight. And so it's a good time to get your eyes checked. Make sure that you're, avoiding some eye strain if you're in front of screens and lights and cameras like I am all day. So at the end of the day, my eyes can be very, very tired feeling. And, sometimes it's good to just sort of take your hands and just kind of rest them over your eyes if you're having too much. And also too, maybe getting some blue light blockers. All of these things are really good because that's kind of involving the liver meridian point. It's not just the liver, it's the gallbladder, it's the tendons, it's the eyes, it's all that stuff is associated with springtime. And we want to awaken that. Now, springtime is the wood element in Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine. It's the wood element. And so remember, we're in the year of the wood dragon. So this is a big, powerful time. And if you think of wood, think of the forest, think of trees, you know, going out for walks and starting to do those types of things. That's all going to be an homage to springtime, you know, in our lives. And so connecting with the color green, because that's associated with the wood element. It's also associated with the heart chakra, you know, if you think of the color green. So that's a really, you know, sort of powerful thing. It's funny because the liver is definitely the seat, CEAT, the seat of anger. And also the liver is responsible for planning ahead. That's the liver's energy. That's the liver's sort of job in, again, Eastern medicine, is planning ahead and pushing ahead and striving. Well, what do you think we're doing in Aries season? We're pushing and we're striving and we're thinking about planning ahead. Now, the gallbladder actually finalizes the decisions. The gallbladder is kind of responsible for like the final say and helping to kind of figure things out. But the liver, you know, if you have any anger issues, that is a good time to address this. You know, if you tend to lean angry, you want to kind of cool down things. You want to cool down your liver and definitely lean into those lighter foods that don't feed the anger as much. You know, all the angry stuff, you know, it can cause us to kind of come up. And maybe even journaling would be a good thing, you know, to get rid of liver stagnation. Journaling would be a good thing to kind of let go of some of this anger that if you are holding on to. Now, anger has many shades, okay? It's like 50 shades of gray. Anger has many shades of red, okay? And that's Aries color, by the way, is red. So we got wood, which is green, and then we have Aries color, which is red, you know? And so that is something that, you know, we want to kind of process our anger. So anger can come in many different flavors, like spitefulness, like frustration, like irritation, like, you know, so we have to kind of watch if, you know, you might be like, well, I'm not angry, but I'm irritable, or I'm grumpy, or I'm mad. I'm kind of, you know, holding on to something. You know, lack of forgiveness can sometimes be associated with that. So we want to make sure that we kind of move that energy, because that's not good for our liver. That is not good for the gallbladder either. Those two kind of work in tandem. And you know, if you have any problems in that area of your body, or if you're holding on to things, if you have fatty liver, if you have any kind of liver abnormality, or you know somebody that does, you know, they might be having some issues with that emotion of anger. So we want to, you know, kind of embrace some of the peacefulness. Now, Aries' job is to fight, literally. Aries' job is literally to fight in the zodiac. That's what we are to do. We are the warriors of the zodiac, meaning the fighters. And so remember, those little cute crocuses, you know, kind of got to fight their way out of that frozen ground. So Aries is meant to be scrappy. Aries is the leader, the starter, and we're supposed to, you know, be fired up. But if you ever find yourself during Aries season a little too fiery, that's not good, you know, and so you want to kind of lean away from that fire. You know, it can tip you over if you're already kind of, you know, leaning in that direction. But for some of us, it's wonderful energy because it wakes us up to something. It's a good time to start things. Now, caveat. During most of Aries season this year, Mercury is going to be retrograde, also in Aries. So Aries are going to get a little, you know, and then we have this big new moon solar eclipse in Aries as well. So we have a lot of Aries energy. By the way, if you guys are liking this broadcast, make sure you like the post, make sure you comment below and share with your friends, tag your friends. You know, all of it helps the algorithm to kind of roll. Clearing out the stagnant energy, like I said, because liver energy can stagnate. And so we want to make sure we clean our houses out, open up some of the windows, bring in fresh cut flowers. All those wonderful things are so good to do during this Aries new time, new season that we're celebrating. And that's what we're doing with the start of the spring equinox and also the start of Aries season. Now, you guys might remember, or you, if you've been watching my broadcast for a while, there are archangels that are associated with the different astrological signs. Wendy said, should we embrace the color red or stay away from it? Well, if you want to be fiery, if you need a little more chutzpah, you would want to embrace the red. But if you find it to be too stimulating, then you want to stay away from the red. But that is Aries color. Every astrological sign has a color associated with it, and Aries color is the color of red, you know. Yes. Well, it's interesting, Lori, because Lori on the live broadcast here said, then there's the pollen, you know, and it's interesting because the liver is adversely in a way connected with the lungs, and that's why they say if there's a lot of wind, okay, it can irritate the lungs, and the lung meridian is associated with not just that, but also sinuses. So it's interesting because it's often very windy in the springtime. It's kind of a thing, you know, coming in. What is that? Coming in like a lion, going out with like a lamb, or something like that. But in Vermont here and a lot of the Northeast, it's still very windy this time of year. So getting into Aries Archangel, which is again Archangel Ariel, Ariel. She is known as the Lioness of God. It's interesting because I would think of the Lion of God associated with Leo, but she's, you know, Aries again are feisty, and you know, when we think of the heart of the lion, yeah, you know, we think about being, you know, scrappy. And so Aries is, now it's funny because I'm an Aries myself, and I know a lot of Aries, and I do a lot of sessions for Aries people, and every astrologer kind of, I don't know, like they talk about these, all the signs like archetypally, in reference to almost like, oh, they're fearless and they're courageous and all that. I don't see that with Aries at all. I don't see that at all. What I see is, you know, really Aries having to work through their fears and work through to be leaning towards courage. You know, the definition of courage is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. That's really an Aries thing. It almost seems like, you know, the way that a lot of astrologers, you know, sort of talk about Aries, is like, you know, like they're just out, you know, slaying dragons every day. And that is somewhat true. I mean, if you think of Gloria Steinem, you know, the big, you know, women's right activist, you know, she's an Aries, you know, Reese Witherspoon, who actually you would think, you know, she's like a crocus, right? You know, Reese Witherspoon is an Aries. She's feisty actually, and she has an all-female production company, like one of the only ones, or the first one in Hollywood, which was pretty exciting, you know. So Reese is making sort of history for women. You know, there's a lot of Aries, even like Lucy Lawless, if you guys remember her, actress who played Xena. I mean, she was an Aries. So there is a lot of Aries people, you know. I always use Russell Crowe. Eddie Murphy too is an Aries. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are just scrappy people that are Aries. So Archangel Ariel, getting back to her, she's the Lioness of God, and she is said to heal the planet and heal nature, and she's the kind of helps animals and wild animals specifically. And she is in charge of earthly desires. You know, she can help us to manifest earthly desires. Her name is Lioness of God, but the other name that she has, the other sort of nickname that seems to be popular is, okay, this is a mouthful. She's the angelic ambassador of divine magic and miraculous manifestations. Woo, say that 20 times really fast. Okay, but if you think about her being associated with earthly desires, you know, during virtue cards here, the desire of prosperity is Archangel Ariel. Your material needs are provided as you follow your intuition and manifest your dreams into reality. Okay, so she can help us with our earthly desires too. She's said to have an innocence like God, like a child, because again, she's, you know, associated with spring, and she's associated with this Aries and all that stuff. But at the same time, she's a badass, which, you know, she has to be, you know, and I'm calling her she because that's the popular pronoun associated with her, though there are texts and scriptures and different references to her being a man as well. A lot of the archangels have male or female associations, but it seems the most popular is as Ariel is a female. So I'm using that pronoun with her tonight. So she it said that she punishes the demons, and then in some other texts, she's also said to be the punisher of the wicked. So, I mean, of course she's going to be, a feisty archangel. But she also works with Archangel Raphael. She works closely with that archangel to heal animals and to help animals. So if you have any animal, pets or yes, wild animals too, she's the helper of all of those creatures. And, we have there's been a lot of, activity starting up here, again in the Northeast, Vermont, with bears and getting into things, and orphaned animals that are killed, slaughtered during hunting and things like that, and they have orphaned babies. So this is the time to say prayers to Archangel Ariel to help us with those types of things. And for sure, if you think about her, if you need some earthly manifestation, some kind of earthly dream, some kind of thing that you're like wanting to desire, she can help us to manifest those things. So she's a very popular one, and she's often pictured with the elements too. She's said to kind of be in charge of the fae, the fairies, the woodland, kind of earthly creatures. And she's like, she's almost like the queen of the elementals. So she's usually pictured with like earth, wind, water, fire, because she's like our baseline energy. But if you think of Aries being the first, it is said a lot of Aries, unless if you got Scorpio or some other thing in your chart, it's said that Aries is kind of like more a little bit uncomplicated in the fact that like they're direct. Aries can be a very direct sign, and it's like, this is what I want, and it's not a big complicated thing, it's just this is the thing. And so that can be the thing. So of course Archangel Ariel here is pictured as the card of courage, like I said. Be courageous, stand up for your beliefs. Okay. And then we have spread your wings. Another Archangel Ariel card. Do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you're ready to soar. Like I said, though, remember, Mercury retrograde is coming on April 1st. Not an April Fool's joke. It really is April 1st. And so we want to accomplish things, even though we just started the pre-shadow today on March 18th at the time of the broadcast. We started Mercury retrograde pre-shadow. So this just means we have to really back up our cell phones, back up our computers, get like the doctor visits in or the car maintenance in, or just wait until after it's over. Mercury retrograde ends on April 25th. And so that is the thing. So we have all this wonderful Aries energy, Archangel. And so that's coming tomorrow night again at 11:06 p.m. Eastern time, earlier than that if you're on the West Coast. And so that's the start of the spring equinox. So happy spring, everybody. Now, there is another energy happening tomorrow, which is a big energy also in Aries, where Mercury is going to form a conjunction with the north node of the moon. And then the next day, on Wednesday, March 20th, Mercury is going to form a conjunction with Chiron. Now, if you remember from like my broadcast from like 2 weeks ago, I keep talking about how Chiron and the north node of the moon are conjunct each other and how they're starting to move away just a little bit from each other. Well, they're only like 2 degrees apart, like 15 and 18 degrees, I believe, 2 or 3 degrees apart. So Mercury's conjuncting both of them. So remember, when I talk about these big astrological energies, they don't just stop and start. I mean, that conjunction with Chiron and the north node of the moon has been active all the way since February and is still active this month. And yes, I'm still talking about it because now Mercury is forming a conjunction. All 3 of them are going to be conjunct together. Mercury, north node, Chiron. So remember, we were talking about healing something, clearing the way, heading towards our destiny. Well, now we're going to want to talk about it because Mercury is getting involved. And so Mercury again is in Aries and is going to be forming conjunction. So the peak of it is tomorrow, right behind the scenes of all this Aries energy, the sun moving into Aries. Now we have Mercury already in Aries. We have Chiron in Aries. We have the north node of the moon Aries. As you can see, there's a lot of Aries energy. We still have last week, Venus entered Pisces. We have that going on, but all these other players. So the peak of it, again, tomorrow, Mercury is going to form a conjunction with the North Node 11:14 a.m. Eastern Time on March 19th. And then March 20th, Mercury is going to form a conjunction with Chiron. The peak of that is 1:28 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's on Wednesday. So these two, Tuesday and Wednesday, are getting really activated. So hopefully we cleared the pathway. Okay, we're working on our healing. We're working on all of our personal stuff, drama, trauma, whatever it is that's coming up for us in this last couple weeks. If anybody's had some triggers going on, this could be the energy that is responsible for it. And so we're getting into that. And then we have to clear that so that we can align with what is our North Node, our destiny, right? Where is Aries in your astrological chart? You'll know what area that the North Node is pushing you in, pushing all of us in to say, chop, chop, what's your main important thing, okay, that you have to work towards in life? And that's lit up right now. And it's a very big, powerful thing. So there's that. So that's going on behind the scenes. That's Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we get into Thursday, and we have two big things going on Thursday. We have like something big every single day. So bear with me. We have the sun in Aries forming a sextile with Pluto in Aquarius. And that's going to be on Thursday afternoon, the 21st, March 21st. That's 4:03 p.m. Eastern Time. And then right after that, we have Venus form its annual, once a year, conjunction with Saturn. And that's going to be at 7:09 p.m. Eastern Time. Woo! When Venus forms a conjunction with Saturn, all of a sudden our love life gets a little crunchy. Okay, we're just going to say it's crunchy. We want a commitment. We want a plan. We want to have permanence. There might not be any permanence to be had. And so that can be really difficult because Saturn's pushing us, right? Saturn's pushing us to make a plan. Saturn's pushing us to have a commitment. Saturn's pushing us to have, this has to be forever and ever, you know? And so, if you have Venus doing anything in your astrological chart with Saturn, and again, you can look up your free chart on Cafe Astrology, astrology.com. You can always contact me for a personalized astrological session, and we can take a deep dive into your astrological chart. But that, if you have anything, that's that love is hard transit, you know, that people believe that love is hard. Love has to be earned, and love has to be, it's not given away freely. We can't just love people freely, you know, we have to earn our love, you know. And so having Venus interacting with Saturn like that brings up all those things. If you already have those underlying beliefs going on, and especially if you already have that in your chart, anytime Venus interacts, I don't care if it's a trine, sextile, whatever, but this is a conjunction, meaning they're both in Pisces. Venus and Saturn are both in Pisces. And then we have the sun in Aries forming a sextile with Pluto right before that. So all of a sudden we're getting really kind of ramped up. We're getting deep. We want to feel the feels. We want to have the connection. We want to have all the, I want to be able to talk and figure out my feelings. I want to talk about all this stuff. But Venus is making it hard to connect with our loved one. Okay. Now, this is interesting. Almir said something interesting, and somebody else said something. I apologize. Somebody else said something about, work. This could be potentially a work opportunity for sure. It's not bad. It's just that it makes sometimes love get a little crunchy, and it makes our suddenly it can make things feel hard, right? Our love life is hard, or I have to earn something. I have to strive for something. I have to reach out, I have to do all these things to get, love or remember, Venus is not just love. She's also finances and creativity. So we might feel a little crunchy this week with our creativity, a little crunchy with our work, but it could, Amir said, hoping to land a job interview. Yeah, that could actually be good for that. It could help you. It's just that those two can get a little when they're together. Now, Saturn is work. So that could be better for work than it is for love life for sure, because Saturn that's his home. It's like his home state is work. It's your spiritual work, your mental work, your emotional work. It's your work here on this planet is Saturn. So right now they're both in Pisces, and that's coming to a peak, like I said, on Thursday. That's March 21st. So that's a little crunchy. Okay, now I got to keep it rolling because we got so much going on this week. Friday, March 22nd, we have Mars moving into Pisces now, which will eventually catch up to Venus and Saturn. Okay. Mars is in Pisces, and that's going to happen on Friday morning, TGIF Friday, 7:47 I said morning, 7:47 p.m. Eastern time. In the evening, Mars moves into Pisces. Now, Mars in Pisces, Mars is the ruler of Aries. Aries is the god of war. I just told you, the Emperor card in tarot deck is associated with Aries. The liver, which is called the general. Okay, that's associated with Aries. Aries likes to fight. Pisces, not so much. Pisces would rather swim away, would rather avoid, would rather just ghost you or go someplace else. Pisces is not as feisty or as fiery as Aries is. So when it comes to Mars moving into this sign, it's all of a sudden we're putting Mars's energy, and it gets a little diffuse. It's almost like anytime Mars and Neptune interact with each other, it's a little weird energy because, Mars wants to do something. Mars is our action, our aggression, our get up and go. It's our chutzpah. It's all the stuff that we do to get going. It's how we act. So it's a fun deep dive. If you guys ever deep dive into your Mars sign in your astrological chart, it's a really fun thing to deep dive. Into Mars, because it's like, how do you act? How do you behave? What drives you and motivates you? Well, that's your Mars sign. And also who you're sexually attracted to is your Mars sign. Okay. And so Mars in Pisces is a little wonky because Pisces is kind of the antithesis of that. I mean, Pisces is watery, Mars is fiery, Pisces likes to be in the ocean and swim around and be a little bit evasive and a little bit, non-direct, and kind of, it has to feel its way through. And Mars is not like that. Mars loves to just, be a straight shot and just kind of say it like it is, do it like it is. So this Mars being in Pisces is just a little uncomfortable. It's not that it's bad. It's just a little bit more indirect of a Mars. It is a more calm Mars, I'll say that. I mean, that could be good, except for fighting in the ocean. So the Red Sea, the whole conflict that's going on with the Red Sea, that could be something here. If there's warfare in the ocean, I mean, that could be the thing. But other than that, I mean, Mars in Pisces is all the Pisces stuff. It's intuition, it's spirituality, it's the ocean, it is creativity, it's all those things. So if we have our drive, our passion, our energy, it's kind of similar to Mars going through the 12th house in our astrological chart. If any of you have ever experienced some of that energy, it's like the 12th house is the rest stop. Pisces is a little bit of like, take a break, take a breather, calm down, So Mars being in this sign is always a little wonky. It's not going to last forever, but it is going to be there. Now, if you are a Pisces, you will be feeling that, and that could actually get you revved up. It could make you feel a little bit more spicy. I'm just looking at my book here. Yeah, it goes all the way until April 30th. So we're going to be like 6 weeks with this one. If you are a Pisces, this could give you a little pep in your step. I mean, it could, and if you have any water signs in your chart, Cancers and Scorpios would feel that too. Now, the opposite of Pisces is Virgo, and so Virgo might be feeling a little like, Mars, if Mars opposes your sun or anything else in your chart, you might feel that as a brief, it's not going to be long, but it'll just be a brief, like, grumpy day or something like that. That can pull that up. Libras are kind of feeling that too right now. Libras are feeling the opposition, okay? Because if any of you are Libras on this broadcast, Aries and Libra are opposite of each other. So you could be feeling that, like, this could be your spicy time of year, where you're feeling a little bit, like something is opposing you. Well, that's because the sun, Mercury, north node of the moon, Chiron, all these planets that are in Aries right now are opposing you. So the energy is a little oppositional, and Libra doesn't like to fight. Libra likes to kind of be, a little bit, anti-fighting. Yeah, it is a thing. So anyway, we have Mars going to be moving into Pisces area. Mars is kind of like the last one in the sort of cluster to kind of enter Pisces. So the cluster the pack is starting to break away, and Mars is a little bit lagging behind. So we have that Mars energy. Now, if you're also a mutable sign, like I said, Virgos, but also Gemini, Sagittarians, especially if your Mars is in any of those signs, you could be feeling this as well. But Mars is not bad. I always say Mars is just energy. And if it doesn't have anywhere to go, that's when it gets fighting, aggressive, and grumpy. If you've ever seen an Aries that is bored or not doing much, that's usually a grumpy Aries, So the same thing goes for Mars and Pisces, Now, it's good if you work, or you live near water, maybe getting near water, meditating, praying, taking good care. It's a Mars cycle to be a little bit more gentle with ourselves. And even though we just started Aries season, we're getting all fired up. Like I said, Mercury's going retrograde. So we have a really weird mixture of energies here that keep there's a little push and a pull here. It's like, go forward, slay dragons, be aggressive. That's that Aries energy. Then we have this Pisces energy, and we have also Mercury, being retrograde in Pisces, in Aries. That's like hold back. So we have push ahead, hold back, push ahead, hold back. So it could be a little strange. It's almost like being in a car, stop, go, stop, go. And that could be kind of weird. With Mars, Mars going into Pisces is one of these sort of chill out, take good care of yourself, rest. If you need to sleep more, it's all that kind of stuff. Yes, Lori said, go into the ocean. Oh, Katie, yeah, you'll feel this. Your Mars is in Sagittarius. So that'll be a square during this time frame. Those will square each other. So that'll be a couple days of just feeling a little spicy, we'll say. Yes, Wendy, sounds like you're a production line. Exactly. Well, you work as a creative person, so that is going to be very good for you. People who have to do linear detailed work, not as much, but people who do like my type of work, intuitive work or creative work, or you're a musician, or I don't know, you do pottery, whatever your fun medium is, this could be good for you with Mars and Pisces. That could help you. All right. So next day, I got to keep rolling because we got so much going on. Next day, yes, exactly, Kelly. Mars in Cancer would be a trine. So that'll be helpful. Exactly. And you'll have to see exactly when it hits, the trine. If you're for example, your Mars is 10 degrees. Once Mars in Pisces hits 10 degrees, boom, that's the trine. So that could be good. Okay. 23rd, Saturday the 23rd, we don't have a major thing going on. First thing in the morning, we have Venus forming a sextile with Ceres. Venus is in Pisces. Like I said, now Mars is moving into Pisces. Venus wants us to be all romantic in Pisces. Mars wants us to be romantic in Pisces. It's all that good stuff in Pisces. So we still do have a little Pisces energy going on in the background. The two lovers, because remember, Pisces is Venus in Pisces is romantic feelings, and then Mars in Pisces is all about our passions and sexuality and things like that. So we have Venus form a sextile with Ceres. Not a big deal. Ceres is in Capricorn and Venus is in Pisces. That's really nice and beautiful energy for Saturday as we enter into the weekend. That's a really beautiful energy because that's caring and nurturing and being oh so empathetic and oh so sympathetic and also bleeding heart a little bit. So Friday night you could have a really in-depth conversation about feelings. Now Mars being in Pisces almost wants to act on those feelings, but remember, we're supposed to just kind of feel the feelings with Mars being in Pisces, you know. So so with Venus forming a sextile with Ceres, this is all about nurturing, caretaking. So that could be a really beautiful Saturday morning. Like you wake up, you make pancakes for the kids or the grandkids, and you know, you pet your dog or your cat, and I don't know, you ease into the day, and it's like it's a good, warm, homey kind of thing. It's like nice. Hopefully you'll get to spend, you know, have a little time off on Saturday the 23rd, because that's a really nice thing. We get into Sunday the 24th, March 24th, and we have Venus also forming a lovely sextile with Jupiter. Jupiter's in Taurus, Venus is in Pisces. Oh my gosh, so the good feelings keep on rolling. And that's also Palm Sunday for anybody who celebrates that. So Venus in Pisces forming a sextile with Jupiter on March 24th. The peak of their height of it is 12:37 p.m. Eastern time, so in the afternoon. And that's just, whenever Venus and Jupiter get together, that's one of the most positive transits. I mean, other than a trine or a conjunction or something, but anytime those two interact, whoo, really good. It's good. It's good for love. So even though we got crunchy on Thursday with Saturn, you know, and Venus, there's a lot of Venus transit this week. So that could be good for love, except for the Saturn thing. Saturn just wants to make a plan, you know, he wants to figure everything out and all the steps and everything. But when we have, hey, Charlie, welcome. Charlie, you said good morning. Yeah, it's evening here, you know, because you're so ahead of us. But yeah, you know, it's something that this coming weekend, the 23rd, 24th, could be really lovely. Great if you have any kind of connecting to do. And it's not just love. It's not just romance. It's love in general. So if you think about, you know, friends and, you know, connecting with your loved ones, this is a beautiful weekend to do that if anybody has any plans or anything that they want to do. And yes, we are leading up to the full moon. And I want to talk about that for a little bit here, because I'm going to see you after the peak of the full moon next week. So I always do the broadcast 8 p.m. every Monday night. Well, this particular full moon is coming overnight between Sunday and Monday, 3 a.m. Eastern time, okay, on Monday morning on the 25th. And that's not just a full moon, it's a lunar eclipse. Now, the April 8th solar eclipse is getting all the press, okay, because that's a total eclipse and it's so like big and powerful, and we haven't had a total solar eclipse in a long time, so that one's getting all the press. But we are forgetting, or the non-astrology people or non-astronomy people are forgetting, that eclipses come in pairs, my friends, or trios. So they're never alone. They never have just one eclipse. It's always, you know, it's always something that comes in a pair. So we have a total, a full moon. It's called the worm moon, and that's going to be on again, Sunday, you know, it'll be exactly midnight if you live out on the West Coast. Okay. So it'll be Sunday into Monday. March 25th, the peak of it, the height of it is going to be at 3 a.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be in Libra, because remember, Aries and Libra are opposite of each other, and when the sun and the moon are opposite, okay, that's when the full moon happens. So it'll be 5 degrees Libra, okay, on Monday. It's going to be a penumbral, say that 10 times really fast, penumbral lunar eclipse. Full moons are lunar eclipses and new moons are solar eclipses, okay? So that April 8th one's a solar eclipse, and that's going to be in Aries, okay? But we have a lunar eclipse. Now, I brought a picture so that you guys could see. That's so funny. Kelly said, I had a guy say to me, you thought you could make a plan and maybe had Saturn. Yes, exactly. Maybe had Saturn and Venus conjunct with each other. Okay, so I brought a picture so that you guys can see what a penumbral eclipse is. Now, the total solar eclipse is sexy, right? I mean, it's like a total blackout situation. That's pretty cool. Okay, but a penumbral situation is here, and I'm going to try to arrange it so you guys can see both on YouTube and also on Facebook. it's shadowy. You can see how, there's a shadow kind of situation going on. This is where it starts and then it kind of ends up here. So it's just a little, it's not a partial, but it's a partial shadow, I guess is what you would call it. There's a little difference between a partial eclipse and a penumbral eclipse, but this is what a penumbral eclipse looks like, and we will be able to see that from the United States. Penumbral is Penumbral. Lori, I think I spelled that right. I'm a terrible speller, so hopefully hopefully I got that. Somebody probably wants to Google it, but that's what the deal is. So we will be able to see that from the US. Just so you know, this whole area and region is going to be like kind of the peak viewing area. So if you're up, it starts, okay, so let's see. This is where I got back to my note. I told you I was on NASA's website. I was doing all my research tonight. I put a lot into these broadcasts. I hope you guys appreciate and like them because it does take a lot. But I really love sharing this information for sure. Okay, so the height of it starts at 12:51 a.m. Eastern time, and I'm talking about Eastern time in the United States, and if you live in a different area, you'll have to Google these times. Okay, it starts at 12:51. The peak of it is 3:12 a.m. So if you're up late, Sunday night into Monday morning, more power to you, and then it ends at 5:32 a.m. So it's going to be all night long kind of a thing. So if you're up, you go to the potty in the middle of the night, you go outside, you might be able to see this. Hopefully it'll be clear out, but you could see it if you live in all of the US, all the Americas actually will see this, this eclipse. This is the heart of the pathway. So that'll be a really cool thing. Now the April 8th one is so specific, and I'm going to show you guys, I definitely, I definitely brought maps because I want to show you guys the April 8th and why everybody's making such a big deal about it. But this is the pathway of this eclipse. Now, this one's really super mapped out because, it's a moneymaker, this eclipse, okay? All the hotel rooms, all the VRBOs, the Airbnbs, everything along this pathway is booked, okay? People are flocking to New England to see this eclipse. This is the pathway of this April 8th solar eclipse, total solar eclipse. So this is a big, huge deal. And this is the pathway. It starts in the mainstream of it. And this is like where it's the most strong through the US. I mean, everybody will be able to see it, but this is the most strong pathway. And look at it. It's going right through Texas, all the way up through into New England, through Vermont. And so this is the big, this is the money maker. Okay. This is the big thing. And I just found out there are school districts in Vermont that actually are giving the kids off the whole day. So it's not a snow day. It's an eclipse day, I guess. I wish we had off from school when I was a kid for eclipses. I just found that out. Somebody just told me that the school, some of the schools, not all of them, don't rely on that for information, but some of the schools are actually literally giving the kids off, which I think is cool. I think it would be cool to have like a planetarium experience or something with the kids, but anyway, so make sure you get your special glasses. There are literally little attachments you can put on your cell phone to take pictures. They're on Amazon for like $8. I saw. Make sure you get the good glasses. Okay, they look like those funny 3D glasses, but you really do want to protect your eyes. Remember, the liver connects to the eyes. There's a springtime thing going on there, so you just don't want to burn your eyes out. But that's the money maker. Okay, that's the money maker eclipse. April 8th. That's the big one. But we still have this penumbral eclipse that's going to be on March 25th. Like I said, peak or the height of it is 3 a.m. Eastern time, 12 midnight if you're out on the West Coast. And that's not as sexy, but it still has a fun there's a little funky kind of funness going on there. But remember, we will feel the energy. Doesn't matter if it's viewable, not viewable, whatever the thing is, we will feel the energy. And this is going to be on the axis of Aries and Libra. 5 degrees Aries, 5 degrees Libra. So if you have any planets, okay, in those areas, it's going to be your eclipse, basically this one coming up in March. And so it is something that is going to be very powerful. Now, the moon being in Libra, right, is relationships, it's partnerships, it's wanting to, be sensitive and have a partner. And then Aries is the self and autonomy and figuring out yourself. And everything starts with you, which is number one. And so here's a little fight between these two, a little battle. Okay. So if you are an Aries or a Libra, and tertiary on the outside, if you're a Cancer or a Capricorn, you will feel that because it's all of the cardinal signs will activate. Okay, so all the bosses, all the leaders will activate. Kamala Harris is a Libra, so she'll be feeling this in our government here. That's the only Libra that I can think of off the top of my head, but she'll have that activated, I guess. And so there's a lot of Libra energy, and like I said, Aries energy. So this is the opposition between Aries and Libra. Aries likes to fight. Libra wants peace. Aries is about the self. Libra wants a partner and a mate and a thing. So if you have a moon sign that is a cardinal sign, you'll feel this. Or if you are a cardinal sign, like I said, Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, or if you're air sign, okay, that's Aquarius. And then we have Gemini coming into the mix here because Libra is an air sign. Those will, they will feel that, but everybody has Libra somewhere in your chart. So you will feel this full moon. And remember, the energy of an eclipse is one planet cuts off the other planet's energy just for a moment, and then we have a rebooting of a computer. Now, the last time that this happened, or I'm sorry, the initiation of this happened, I shouldn't say last time, the initiation of this particular full moon was back during the last new moon in Aries, and that happened all the way back on October 14th, 2023. Okay, so, and that was also an eclipse, okay? So that was the new moon solar eclipse back on October 14th. So see, Aries and Libra are getting all the eclipses now because that's where the new moon, or sorry, the north node of the moon and the south node of the moon are. The north node and the south node predict, or they guide us to where the eclipses are taking place. That's why it's so important to know where the north node is and the south node is. So they're in Aries and Libra right now. And so we're getting activated Aries, Libra, Aries, Libra, Aries, Libra, okay, with the eclipses until they change over. And they're next, I believe they're going into, I shouldn't say because I don't have it off the top of my head, but they always go retrograde. So what would that be? Pisces, Virgo, the next one. Yeah, so I mean, so we're going to be feeling this. We're going to be feeling this. So this is big energy. And like I said, I will see you next Monday night, and I will talk about the eclipse more then, but I want you to have the heads up because, yeah, I want you to be able to burn your full moon manifestation list. I want you to be able to put out your crystals to get recharged. I want you to be able to make moon water, whatever thing it is that you like to do during the full moon. This is the time, okay? And it's going to be powerful because there is a lunar eclipse. Now, a lot of people, there's kind of the jury is out. There is a lot of people that say not to do magic during eclipses. I think everything is based on intention. And so I personally do a little bit of magic. You know, I don't know about the April 8th one because that one's a big one. That one's like on steroids. So I don't know, but we'll see. So remember, it's a full moon, but it's a full moon on steroids. So we'll be feeling it. Now, the good news is we have all this lovely Venus energy leading up to this eclipse. This eclipse, you know, a lot of times on my broadcast, I'm like, "Whoa, this is gonna be ugly. This is gonna be ugly." Well, this eclipse, this full moon is actually kind of a nicer full moon than some of the other full moons that we've seen for a long time. Because there's a lot of more positive energy packed around it. A lot of Venus energy wrapped up around this full moon. So again, Venus is the ruler of Libra. So see, it's like, there's a lot of like romantic, as we get into midweek, all the way into next week, there's a lot of Venus again, love, money, creativity. So Linda Goodman, let me see if I can find my card. And by the way, I'm about to start taking questions. I felt so bad last week. My camera had died. I I brought my battery charger with me this week, but I felt so bad because last week the broadcast was cut a little short. So I'm going to definitely take questions. I'm going to try to find. So Linda Goodman, who is one of the world's most famous astrologers, she was just amazing. She has passed away. She was an Aries also, but she made this beautiful card, Love, Money, Creativity, and it's like this beautiful ribbon that they're all mixed in together, and that's Venus. Okay, that's Venus. Love, money, creativity. So when we look at that, okay, the particular eclipse is wrapped up with all kinds of Venus energy, so that could be fun. I mean, there's a rebooting going on. That might not be fun. Rebooting's sometimes, remember, we turn off our computer. If we reboot our computer, a lot of times we're turning it off because it's glitchy. Sometimes it comes back on and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, and that can happen during eclipses. Sometimes it just flatlines and then it's done. So whatever is rebooting for us during this time, it's a big one, and it's bookended with eclipses. This new moon in Libra was the last new moon on October 14th, 2023. That was an eclipse, and now we're ending that with an eclipse. Okay, so this is kind of big eclipse energy. Like we have a lot, and then we're moving into that April 8th energy too. So there's a lot of energy going on around eclipses, and we're going to be having that April 8th one is going to be during Mercury retrograde, whereas this eclipse is not Mercury retrograde. So again, we have some time. We have 2 weeks now, okay, to finish our stuff, to get it wrapped up. I don't think that we have to stop doing things, okay, because of an eclipse or because of Mercury retrograde pre-shadow. I don't think we have to stop doing things, but it's the time where we're getting into the zone where we are going to, okay? So yes, Almir said 2017 eclipse was life-changing for you. Yep, I've had some really life-changing things happen. Really, it's a thing. Oh, Wendy, you said my brain is officially blown up. You're amazing, very impressive with all my knowledge that I share. Thank you. Sylvia said I love the information. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody has any questions for me. And if you guys ever want an astrological session to go over some eclipses and some other things, feel free to send me a message. You can send me an email. You can send me a text message, whatever works better for you. Email is hard for me, but if you send me a direct message or research what my phone number is, you can do that. Oh, Wendy, oh no. You have an electrocardiogram and a stress test. Uh-oh. Well, I can pull a card for you. I can't do a full medical reading during a live broadcast, but I can, and I do those, by the way. I am a medical intuitive. I include a lot of medical stuff in my broadcast because I love the hobby of health, I guess if you would call it that. My Mars, which is my action, my motivation, my drive, my ambition, lives in the 6th house, which is the house of health. So I really love health. It's like a hobby of mine. I worked for 14 years in veterinary medicine. I worked for 2.5 years in human physical therapy medicine. I love health. I love the topic of health, and I constantly research health. It's like a weird hobby of mine. Like, people will be like, "What did you do on Saturday?" I'm like, "I listened to a health lecture." I'm like, "Wow, you really know how to live, Gretchen." But I like to do those types of things. So yeah, so Wendy, so let me just pull a card really quick and find out what's going on. Well, it's saying, first of all, that you have, now I have a little bit of a bone to pick with the medical community in the fact that a lot of people, I actually have a heart defect that I work with in my own body, which also helps me to learn more about health. And I've actually volunteered with the American Heart Association. I've done some things around it. And in medicine, they tend to tell women a lot of times that their heart problems are stress. Okay, so it's like you don't have a heart problem, you have an anxiety problem. But a lot of women have heart problems, actually. It's the number one killer of women in the United States is heart issues. Or actually men and women. So women have heart problems just like men do. But a lot of and I'm sorry for them saying that men versus women thing, because I don't like to do that, but a lot of women are poo-pooed at the doctor's office, like that, oh, so I'm prefacing what I'm saying to you, Wendy, is I do think you have stress and anxiety, which is not helping your heart. Okay. That's the way I feel. Now, good news is you got the card of have faith, which that's very good news. And I almost get a feeling of skipped beats or some kind of palpitation or some sort of feeling of arrhythmia in you. But I definitely think you should get it checked out. I mean, Saturn's coming out, which means that you need to cross your T's and dot your I's. And I'm glad that it sounds like somebody's listening to you, Wendy, that they're able to, that they're ordering these tests and following up. You might need more of a Holter monitor or an event monitor versus, but I think having a complete cardiology workup, there might be a couple things on there, but I don't know. Overall, I feel like your heart is pretty healthy, and also that you have stress. And so I don't want to be one of those people that says, oh, you have stress, and then, because they could be two different things. If you like, stress is related to heart issues. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically what I'm getting. You might have both. Okay. It's not one or the other. You might have both. Yeah. High anxiety, Wendy said. Yeah. Yeah, so I want you to do all that. Saturn says cross your T's, dot your I's, be thorough, like do all the testing that you need to do. But you did get the have faith card, which means that in the end of the day, it'll be okay, whatever comes up, okay, for you at that as a result of those tests and things, that it will be okay. But that you should get these done. And also that your stress is not helping whatever's going on. Okay, that's also a thing. A lot of women, like I said, we have problems with doctors taking us seriously sometimes, and that can be a thing. So I hope that helps. All right, Charlie, does the person leaving you secret messages love you or playing with you? Hi, June, welcome. You're catching me at the end. I was just talking about how we're having a big full moon, lunar eclipse in Libra coming on March 24th into the 25th. So I know that you're got some Libra in your chart energy. So that is the thing. So good, Wendy. You said you're getting one of those too. That's awesome. That's awesome. So Charlie, let me look and see about your secret messages. Woo! This fell out, so I always have to honor something that falls out. Okay, this is the Hermit card. I just feel, Charlie, like your secret whatever admirer person it doesn't feel, I don't know how to say it. It feels like nothing. It feels confusing. You're getting the Hermit card. You're getting Neptune, which is confusions, illusions, lies. I don't know. It feels like I wouldn't take it seriously. I don't know. I just don't get this feeling of taking it seriously. I hope that helps. I'm sorry, Charlie. I wish I want to say that, oh, it's the love of your life, but I just don't feel that. I feel like it's a little catfishy or something. I don't know. Something is weird with it. Something's weird with it. I wouldn't trust it. And by the way, if someone wants you, they should just come out and say it. If they're not brave enough to come out and say it and claim you, okay, I am claimed, I am chosen, I am picked, okay? I love those affirmations for us people. I am chosen. I'm chosen for jobs, okay? So a couple of people were saying they were going on job interviews and things like that. I'm chosen, okay? Or I'm picked. I'm selected. I love those things. So I would say that. I would say that mantra, Charlie. There's something going on with it, but it feels, I don't know. I don't like the energy around it, Charlie. I just don't, I don't know. I don't know if you're on the broadcast still, but I hope that helps. Wendy said, thank you, sweet cakes. Oh, you're welcome. Yes, tons of anxiety. Yes. Yeah. So you just need to, kind of address that. That could be an underlying aggravator cause. I don't want to say cause, but it might be aggravating it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pick, I didn't get to do this last week, but I'm going to pull cards for the eclipse. What do we need to know? Well, not even the eclipse for the week, for all this. So I'm going to really quickly just recap in case you just joined. A couple of people just joined. So I'm going to just really quickly recap because we got a lot and I went over a lot, and I hope I drilled it down into like simple steps, but it was a lot. Okay. Ready. On Tuesday, we have the spring equinox. The sun is moving into the astrological sign of Aries, which is also the start of springtime up here in the northern hemisphere of the world, and we're starting Aries season as well. We have Mercury conjuncting the north node of the moon and also Chiron. We need to still work on healing something, and we still need to work on our destiny, our future. Where are we going? What are we doing? All of those things that we have to just work towards. And we're going to be talking, emailing, texting. This is a time to put language around it, to put words around it, even if you're listing it out on a list. Okay, where do we want to go? What's our goals, our dreams, our aspirations? But we need to talk about it with people. We need to network. We need to make it a thing. Breathe life into it. Okay, where are we doing with our destiny? Okay. We got a little bump in the road on Thursday with Venus forming a conjunction with Saturn. We want to drill it down. We want to have permanence. We want to work at something. But Venus and Saturn together are kind of wonky. And we have Pluto with the sun. I don't know. We're going to want to talk and get deep. And then like our betrothed or our loved one might not want to do that. So there's like a little weird energy around that on Thursday. That's the I have to work for love thing. Okay. But we get into Friday, Mars moves into Pisces, and Pisces is, going to be helping us with our creativity. Mars in Pisces is all about flow, yoga, meditation, okay, prayers. It's like a little bit of the rest stop. Actually, this is a good way of explaining Mars and Pisces. Anybody who's into working out, because remember, your girl over here is all about the health stuff. I'm such a dork when it comes to that. I'm sorry. But you know how on certain days you're supposed to lift weights, and then other days you're supposed to, do cardio and walk. And then there's other days they call it active rest, where you're supposed to just walk or just stretch or do a foam rolling thing or something. That's like Mars and Pisces only for 6 weeks. It's active rest. Okay. So I think gentle, all that kind of stuff. It's not doing nothing. It's just that you're going easy a little bit more on yourself. We're getting into the weekend with Venus forming a lovely sextile with Ceres, and then also Venus forming a lovely sextile with Jupiter. That's a beautiful thing over the weekend with love and creativity and all that. And then we get into Monday, overnight, Sunday to Monday, and that is our full moon. Woo, that's a big full moon. Lunar eclipse. Okay, Aries Pisces or Aries Libra. It's a lot. It's a lot. It is a lot. Okay, so I'm going to pull a couple cards here for what do we need to know for all this energy. Okay. All right. I'm pulling all different decks. I'm going to do a bunch of different decks so that we can find out what is the universe downloading for us. Like, what are the big things that we need to learn about that are important? Hey, Kristen, welcome. Yay, you have a big crash show coming, Wendy. That's awesome too. Okay, well, I got a whole bunch of cards falling out here. All right, let's see this one. We got a lot of different cards here. Let's see. What do we need to know about all this energy? My God, it's a lot. It's a lot. We have a lot of cards and there's a lot of energy. So there's that. All right, I'm about to start talking about the cards. What do they mean for this week? Oh, okay. All right, I'll start with this one because this one's pretty clear. Archangel Jophiel, clear your space. Well, I was just talking about spring cleaning at the beginning of the broadcast for Aries energy. We want to get rid of, we want to, clean our space. I'm going to read you the message in the card. Get rid of clutter, clear your energy around you, use feng shui. Okay. So we were just talking about the liver energy and, you know, that affecting tendons, eyesight, all that kind of stuff. We want to bring some eggs and nuts and seeds and beautiful flowers and things into our space. So we want to clear our heart and our mind and our space, our living area. That will help us. Now, we might be grappling with a lot of energies this week. And, you know, even this is kind of the energy, a little bit of Libra. See how she's like, meh, I'm not sure what to do. We might be grappling with something that we're considering, you know, like, should I do this or should I do this? Should I go left or should I go right? Should I go, you know, sideways or straight? You know, I don't know. She's grappling with something here, this card. And that's the card where I call it's literally the title of it is discrimination analysis. We want to, like, we're thinking about things. And if you think about the energy of Libra, the energy of the equinox, right, is the equal days. Then we have Libra, which is the scales, you know, so some of us might be indecisive or feeling a little wonky. However, there is, somebody said 52 pickup, and they were absolutely correct. I pulled a romance card here. This is a different deck. Okay, getting to know each other. I'm going to read you this. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, the bond deepens. Okay, so this is really what this Venus and Saturn thing is about. Saturn doesn't want to have a one-night stand. Saturn doesn't want to have a fling. Saturn was like, is this going to last or what? You know, like, let's do this. So as you reveal your innermost selves to each other, part of Aries energy is the self, getting back to the self. Okay, the basis of all things is the self. It's number one. Think number one. That's why it's the first house in the astrological chart. So get to know each other. And maybe if you don't have someone else in your life that you're getting to know, maybe this is about getting to know yourself and really doing some soul searching, especially since it seems like there's a lot of energy out there that's a little wonky because it seems like we're deciding something. So what do we have to do? We have to go inside of ourselves internally and really see. Or with another person and not hide. You know, Charlie asked that question about a secret admirer. You don't want to hide. You don't want to hide your energy behind something. You want to be authentic. That's what all this Aries energy is about. That be authentic, be truly true to who you are. And, you know, I have a funny saying. I'll just say it. I'll have to bleep it out because it's not PC, but if it's not an F yes, then it's a heck no. And I use curse words when I say that. It's kind of like, I know life is complicated, but sometimes we make it overly so. And so I'm getting 2 cards here. It's interesting. I'm using my Moonology deck, and these are, sorry, 3 cards fell out. Okay, so I'm going to honor the 3 cards. I was only trying to pick one, but I'm going to honor the 3. And it's funny because all 3 of these are earth signs. So the first sign says it's the full moon in Virgo card that says you are good enough. Full moon in Virgo, you are good enough. The second card is saying new moon in Capricorn. A lot of us have given birth to new things, new ideas. Your hard work is now paying off. Okay, that's the new moon in Capricorn. So a lot of us have started new things. Because hello, Taurus, new moon, prosperity lies ahead. Now remember, earlier in the broadcast, I was saying Archangel Ariel can help us with prosperity, help us with our earthly needs, help us to make some money, honey. Okay, so there's hard work, there's money, and it's kind of saying like, it's not magical. Like, we are going to have to work. Earth signs are all worky. Even Taurus is worky. So it's saying that we have to work really hard for what it is we're trying to do and accomplish and push ahead on. And so we got to get busy. But remember, we want to get busy before Mercury retrograde starts. And then Mercury retrograde is homework time. It's behind the scenes. It's researching. It's looking things up. It's doing all that stuff behind the scenes. It's not the time to actually initiate and start new things. So right now in this 2 weeks, even though we have the pre-shadow and it might be a little sludgy and a little mucky and a little muddy to do, that is the thing. I tried to fit this all in an hour. I couldn't make it. I'm sorry. But this week is a lot of layers, and it has a lot of complexity. So if you guys want to have a personalized astrological session, you know what to do. Okay, message me. Also, if you watch this on YouTube, you're awesome. Make sure that you like my page. It's really helping. My numbers are increasing. And by the way, thank you guys for last week. You guys also helped me by liking some of my Instagram things, and my Instagram numbers went up too. So I appreciate. I'm just trying out here, slogging away, trying to help people and all that good stuff. So I hope that helps. Happy all the good things, and I will see you guys next Monday night, same time, same place. Namaste. Bye.